So, we've got a new sighting for you all from South Australia. South Australia now has officially 5 sightings for the year, ahead of Victoria with 4, Tasmania with 2. So, New South Wales, Queensland and WA need to lift their game, I think. Anyway, new sighting was from the Adelaide Hills. The best part about this sighting is there is actually a second sighting at the same spot about 2 weeks before this one. It was from last Saturday night. So clearly there's a bit of a crossing there where the animals are coming through. It's in an area where we had another sighting only about 10 k's away about 2 weeks ago. So 3 sightings to the Adelaide Hills. First sighting was about 2 to 3 weeks ago in a reserve. Then there was this first sighting from this roadside spot where the person came through twice, 2 nights in a row at the same time, saw it in the same spot. So I was clearly hanging around that area, probably stealing chickens or something, who knows. And then last Saturday night, a couple on their way home to Meadows went through the same spot and saw this thing clear as a bell. The guy's a hunter, he knows his stuff. I'll leave it for him to tell you all about his experience, but it's a ripper of a sighting. Things are really going off at the moment. I've just been out with the witness who had the audio the other day. He's taken me to the spot where he had his sighting, and he's given me a rough idea of roughly where he recorded the audio. That's on private property, and his friend doesn't want to be named or anything, so that's fine. Anyway, we're in the general area, and we found some baby thylacine prints on the side of the road, so with big claw drag in them. So they're identical to the ones I found in South Australia and Victoria. I'll put up some comparisons when I put them up as well. So all in all, things going off right now, really big, and just makes me, you know, want to look at the camera right now and say, cloning! What a waste of friggin' money. Anyway, hope you enjoy the interview. He's on the money. He's a genuine guy. Just another normal Aussie out doing their thing, seeing strange animals. Enjoy.
Hello, this is Kane.
Hello, Kane. It's Neil Waters. How are you, mate?
Neil, good mate. How are you?
Very good, thank you. Very good. You've got home early today, have you?
Yeah, I did actually. We finished up a little bit earlier, so the boss was happy to let us get out of there, which was good.
That's always a pleasant thing, isn't it?
It is, mate. It is. What's the weather like down in Tassie?
It's been trying to act like winter for the last few days. We've had about 5 inches of rain in the last, say, 4 or 5 days. It's been pretty full on, actually.
Okay. Well, we haven't got any of that up here yet, mate, and pretty unusual for this time of the year not to be raining in Meadows and back here. So, yeah, well, I'm enjoying the weather while it's lasting.
So you're in Meadows, are you?
I am, yeah. So I've been out here. I used to live in Charleston.
Oh, yeah, I know Charleston.
And, of course, seen plenty of foxes and all sorts out that way.
Yep.
And, of course, yeah, then the wife and I had an old cottage out there, so we sold that up, and then we moved to Meadows and built a new house.
Ah, beautiful.
Yeah, so it's nice. It's got a beautiful rural outlook out the back, and, yeah, it's a good spot, mate. Good spot.
You're in that new subdivision up on the right there as you're coming up the main drag.
No, so I'm straight up from the pub.
Oh, yeah.
Up Nottage Road.
Yep.
And there's a little one on the left called Hayfield Meadows, and there's only 40 houses in this one. The other one's massive.
Okay.
So, yeah, we've just got 40 little, they're 1,200 square metre blocks, and I'm back onto farmland behind me. So
Beautiful.
it's bloody beautiful, yeah. I get all the luxuries of looking at it without having to maintain it, mate.
My great-great-great-grandfather built and was the first publican of the Meadows pub.
Oh, there you go. Okay, yeah, there's a bit of history.
Yeah, you know Prospect Hill up the road there?
I do, yeah.
Well, as you go down the road opposite there, it's Harvey Road.
Yes.
And
yeah,
if you take Blackfellas Creek Road to the left, where it forks, You go through Waters Gully. That's where my ancestors were.
Oh, there you go. God, that's pretty close to here, really. Yeah.
Yeah, so I know the area reasonably well.
You know it reasonably well, yeah. There you go. Well, mate, look, I must say, I mean, Christ, I've been hunting for years, and I haven't been much lately. But in my younger years, I used to go up north, and I used to go up to Inaminka, and we used to go shooting on properties down there, and all sorts. And so that's when that's why I know what I saw wasn't a bloody fox. That's for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
But look, it was certainly interesting, mate. I mean, we see all sorts of things running out into the road, and this was certainly very different to anything I've ever seen. I mean, I'm 47. I'm no spring chicken.
Yep.
And I've got no reason to make this stuff up. It was, look, as I turned to the wife, I said, slow down, it's going to run out. And then it just didn't run, and it just sat there and looked at us and just casually turned away and sort of loped off into the under the little metal barrier there and disappeared. And I thought, what the hell was that?
Well, that area to the left, so that's heading back east because you were heading towards Meadows down Batunga Hills Road, yeah?
Yeah, we were going down Meadows Road out of Echunga, so that little diagonal road that runs down to Batunga from the pub.
Yep.
We were turning left onto Batunga Road, so it's about, call it 30 metres before we turned left.
Yep.
There's a little spillway drain under the road, and there's a metal barrier either side, and he's just appeared straight out of there.
Okay, I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah, so, and I mean, look, mate, as I said, I've seen hundreds of bloody, I mean, I've got dogs, I've got, and it certainly never resembled anything I've ever seen, and I've seen some pretty bloody big foxes, particularly up north.
Yep.
And I've seen some mangy foxes, which is why I sort of got home and I thought, geez, I wonder if anyone else has seen anything like this, you know what I mean?
Yep.
And sure enough, there has been. There's been a lot of people give me a lot of stick about it too.
Yeah, there's always the dickheads, but generally speaking, I mean, I used to be in Adelaide Hills chat, but I got tired of their admin, so I left it. Someone sent me some screenshots, and there was about 12 or 13 other people that said they'd seen something.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. There was one lad that obviously, I'm trying to think of his name. I did screenshot his message. Give me a second. His name was Joshua Yeager.
Oh, yeah, Josh. Yeah, he's a good friend.
Yeah, and he said to me that obviously he's got the bloke at Mount Bold here who's had sightings and seen some interesting tracks around his property.
Yep.
I actually had a guy contact me just before who's offered to give me some trail cameras, to set up some trail cameras, and I said to him, mate, it didn't actually happen at my house. It happened back in Echunga. I think he thought it happened in the property. So
Yeah.
But look, mate, this thing was real distinct in what I saw. It definitely had those shaded lines through its tail and its back, and it was, even my wife said to me, my God, what was that? It almost looked like I don't know, the way it sort of moved and walked, it was, it reminded me a little bit of a small werewolf almost. I know that might sound a bit strange, but it was just in the way it was sort of, it seemed to be hunched in the lower and with that skinny underneath with the thicker rib cage at the front, and that's when I said to her, well, that wasn't a fox, and it sure as shit wasn't a dog. And it certainly appeared to be quite a good size. Like I would have said the size of a Labrador, a bit smaller than a Labrador sort of thing.
Yeah, like a decent-sized Labrador male sort of thing.
That's right, yeah, decent-sized male lab, but of course a lot thinner.
Yeah.
And it was, I mean, it was pretty clear what, and I even said to her, I said, what was that? Like that, it really struck me as something really different.
Yeah.
Nothing that I'd ever seen before.
Yep.
Which is why I was, so interested to jump. Oh, so as soon as I got home, I jumped onto Google. I'm like, Adelaide Hills sightings,
Yeah.
Thylacine, and straight away there'd been a couple that had popped up and people had seen them, and other people in my messages had seen them. So
Yeah, there's, that stretch of road between Meadows and Echunga, and then again between Echunga and Harndorf as well. Yeah, and over near Flaxley, they've been seen over there. So that it's kind of like the striped triangle, for want of a better word, that area. So they
It's strange because there's, I know one person said to me, oh, well, why have they never found one? And, why have they never found a skeleton? Or why haven't they done this or that? And I said, well, look, I don't know. I'm not, here to create, I guess...
The what if, why? Yeah.
But it's certainly, even my wife, she's been out hunting with me before, and, we went up to Bullock Creek for many years at the station up there past O'Leary, and, we used to go up there because they had heard ghosts and all sorts of things up there, and, the wild cats had evolved up there.
Yeah.
And, we were shooting wild cats, the size of a medium-sized dog, bloody big.
Yeah, they do get pretty decent, some of the ferals.
They do, and it certainly wasn't that, you know what I mean? Like, you could pick the difference. And again, a fox, if any fox I've seen, with an approaching car, they're really quick to dart off into the darkness. This was not phased, really, to a degree. It wasn't really phased that we were approaching it. It just sort of casually stopped and looked at us, and...
So... It was heading from the east towards Mount Bold, yeah? Crossing the road left to right.
It was heading from the southeastern side of that little angle road.
Yeah.
And it was heading across to the other side. Now, I don't know whether it came out of a drain under there, or I know that in the left-hand paddock, or the southeastern corner there has been a lot of cattle and of course, the newborn calves in there over recent weeks.
Sure.
So I'm not sure if it was lured to that sort of thing.
They will take a calf, but they're not real...
I wouldn't have thought it would have taken... I thought a calf might have been a bit big for one. But look, I don't know a lot about them, mate. I've never...
Yeah,
really researched.
I've got some reports of them disembowelling calves. I've got two reports of that where they disembowel a calf. But their favourite food is a roo, and they'll rip the head off and take the lungs out through the neck cavity.
Wow, how's that, eh?
So we do get a lot of headless roos in the hills there, especially in winter, around Nan, and also further south towards Range Road between Victor Harbour and Deep Creek.
Yes, I know.
Out that
Road,
way. Up Mount Crawford Way we get a few. We get a few not too far from you there, down Blackfellas Creek Road too, actually.
Well, I mean, is it possible? I mean, that's the miracle question, isn't it? I mean, is it, it's been 90-odd years since they've been around. Is that right?
Well, on the mainland, if you listen to an expert, they'll tell you they've been extinct for 2,000 years.
Right.
But in Tassie, 84 years or whatever it is now, 86 years. But look, the sightings in South Australia go back to the beginning of white settlement. They've always been there. Always.
Yeah, okay.
Always, without a doubt. I'd put me left arm on it. I'd bet it.
Yeah. Well, look, I mean, it is certainly sparked some interest, and I think today, as you said, Sonia wasn't probably the most effective interview. It might have been better with Franklin in the mornings.
Yeah, well, she was sort of not asking a lot of questions, really. So.
No, she wasn't. I think, again, a different approach, I guess, from a different person.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, absolutely.
But look, I mean, it's certainly, mate, again, it's certainly opened my eyes back up to a possibility that something could be back around that, people have, and they might not be in the big numbers, but they might just be in enough numbers where they get a breeding cycle, and they may not be in huge numbers, but that one or two that pop up in an area could just be ongoing because of that cycle.
Yeah. About 4 years ago, we had some prints turn up at a farm in Lobethal.
Okay.
And it was one of those flower farms, and they just the night before turned all the beds and got them all ready. They were like billiard tables ready to plant. They went out there the next morning and there's all these massive prints right through it. And they had no idea what it was. And then they thought back and they'd had 2 sightings on the property. And the guy that was smart enough to pour some plaster casts, and I got some photos of the plaster casts. And it was a big adult male. It had to be, because it was like 4.5 inches wide on the front foot. You know, it's a big animal.
That's no dog does that sort of thing.
No. And I've got some prints that I got from Tea Tree Gully back in 2016, and they're just enormous. And they've got this massive big 5th digit, like a thumb, that comes out at right angles on the front feet. It's no dog, you know, like it's clearly a marsupial with big, wide spaced toes.
Yeah.
So.
Well, mate, look, as I said, it's certainly opened my eyes up to the possibility that they are still around. I didn't think much of it before, and again, I guess until you see something like that, you don't really.
Yeah, seeing is believing with a lot of things in life, you know. And you being a hunter and knowing your animals pretty well, you certainly.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you know, even in my years of hunting, when you've seen something in the bush under spotlight, and you know, I've got a big 308 Ruger with a massive scope on it, and I can see stuff from 200-300 metres away.
Yeah.
Quite clearly, I might add. You know what I mean? When I look at stuff through my scope, it's like it's 50 metres in front of me, not 300.
Yep.
And even through the scope, under spotlight, you can see that it's a fox, that it's a cat, that it's you know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's the golden rule of hunting. You got to know what it is before you pop it.
Correct, before you pop it, because certainly, mate. I'm almost converted. Well, I say I'm converted because I know what I bloody saw. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not blind. And the wife said it can't be, and I said to her, love, what else could it be?
How close to the car was it?
Oh shit, mate! I'm talking 5 metres.
Yeah, right under headlights.
Correct. Yeah,
and how slow were you going?
Well, as soon as I saw it under the headlights, we were probably about 20 metres from it.
Right.
I said to her, slow down, because I thought it was a dog initially or something like that. I said, slow down, it's going to run out. And then as she slowed right down, we slowed down to probably 10, nearly 10 k's an hour.
Yeah, and then it backpedaled.
And then as we got about 5 metres from it, is when it had stopped just before that. And as that braking happened, it literally just stopped and then looked at us and then just turned away and casually, there was no haste about this thing. It was just almost eerie in how calm it was.
Did you get any eye shine off it?
I don't think so, no.
Probably because it was just too bright at close range, do you think?
Maybe. I don't remember seeing any eye shine off it, no.
Okay.
No, but definitely the patterns through the tail and the hind.
Yep.
Definitely that was quite distinct in what I saw as I said to the wife. She said, that's got stripes. And I said, well, I said to her, turn around and go back and we'll just sit there for 10 minutes and see if it reappears.
Yep.
But we had to come home and we had the dogs in the car and the wife wanted to watch bloody The Voice or something. She's like, no, I'm going home. I want to watch that. I said, all right. So I said to her, well, I'd kind of like to go back and just sit there. And look, I was going to go back on Sunday night and just sit there and,
see if it popped out.
Road, park the car around that 7 o'clock time to see if it's somewhat habitual in its movements.
Sure.
I don't know if they were or not.
They are a little bit, but they're often a very solitary animal. But I think, at certain times of the year, they will group up as a family and hunt together when the young are about 2.5 years old and they're teaching them how to hunt. But a lot of the time, it's nearly always a solitary animal. Occasionally you get a sighting of a female with 1 or 2 joeys with it. But not very often. The sightings with multiple animals are far and few between.
Yeah, look, I think that it seemed very unfazed by our presence. If anything, I think it was smart enough to stop going out onto the road because it did see the headlights.
Yep. So it stopped on the bitumen or right at the edge of the shoulder there?
It was about 20 metres before the edge of the shoulder of the corner.
Okay, yeah, but was it on the gravel or was it on the bitumen?
No, he was on the gravel. So he just appeared from underneath the little middle, or beside the middle roadside barrier there.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
And I said to the wife, "Oh shit, slow down," and because she had her high beam on, and so she slowed down, and then a car did come around the corner and go the other way, but it was still it hadn't really moved. It had just sort of stopped. And as we then approached, it just turned and went back in.
Yep.
So it was certainly, well, I mean, like you see a fox under the headlights, mate. They run like,
they're gone in a flash.
This thing was it was very, and the way it moved was different.
Yep.
The way it walked was different.
So you saw it take, 4 or 5 steps maybe?
Oh, shit, yeah, maybe 10.
Okay. What can you tell me about the way it moved?
It was not like a normal dog's walk, that's for sure.
Yeah.
It moved with almost a bit of a, I'm trying to think of the word. It had a real distinct movement in the way that it strided, if you know what I mean.
Yep.
I think I saw it when it first came out, and it was almost predatory-like. It wasn't like it was walking normally. It was like it was on the hunt for something.
Okay. Would you say that the gait was a little bit peculiar with the rear end rather than the front end?
Absolutely, yep.
Yep. Almost like it was limping?
Sort of, yeah. It sort of looked like the lower hind was not injured. Well, it wasn't injured, but you know what I mean. It didn't move as freely as the front. Yeah,
okay. Have you got YouTube on your computer, yeah?
Yeah.
There's a video on there from Moonta from 2017 called Paul Day's Thylacine video. Original footage. Have a look at that when you get a chance and flick us a message and let me know if you think that's it, the gait. He filmed one at sunrise and it was running like it was injured. And a lot of people report that. It's like it's limping with the back feet.
What was it?
Paul Day, D-A-Y.
Yep.
Thylacine footage.
Hang on.
Are you in front of the computer now, are you?
Thylacine. Original footage by Paul G. Day.
That's the one. Put that one up. Have a look at that. It's the best footage there is of this peculiar gait that people describe.
Okay. Let's have a look. It's thinking. Hang on. I might need to get off my phone before it plays properly.
Yeah. You've got satellite internet or something, have you?
Yeah, I've got my phone on medium saving mode because the bloody battery goes too flat too quickly. It's getting old.
Okay.
I'll have a look and then I'll message you after.
All right, mate. No worries.
I've got it there ready to play anyhow.
Yeah, it's really interesting because he gets it for about 15, 20 seconds on sunrise.
Yeah.
So it's silhouettes. But I even had a professor from Adelaide Uni confirm that that's actually not a fox. It physically can't be a fox. But he then changed his mind to say that he thinks it's probably just an injured cattle dog. But it ain't no cattle dog. You have a good look at that limp on that thing, mate. It's pretty well bang on, I reckon, to what you reckon you would have seen.
Yeah, it's certainly. Even my wife said, "Oh, it's walking." Actually, she did say that. She said it's walking funny.
Okay. Yeah, well, that's the one thing that 90% of the people I talk to report. Probably 95%. They nearly all say the same thing.
Yeah. Okay.
So.
All right, well, I'll certainly. Hang on, it's loading now. It's just got to bloody add up for a second.
Yeah, it's just doing the loop-de-loop thing, is it? Now, just for the record, you're okay with me releasing this as an interview on our YouTube channel?
Absolutely, mate. No problem at all. Yeah.
Awesome, cool. No, that's good. People love hearing these stories. Yours is the third sighting in South Australia for the year. And there was one about 4 weeks ago, not even 3 weeks ago at Mount Barker.
Yep.
So,
I'm looking at it right now.
Okay.
Yeah, that's pretty much bang on, mate, how it moved.
Yep.
Hang on, here is the enhanced version. I'm
Yeah.
just gonna watch what he does here.
He just enlarges it basically, and you get a bit more detail out of it, but not a lot.
Yeah, it pretty much moved like that. Yep, with that. It was almost. Yeah, that's it.
It's like it's skipping with the back feet. It's not a lot different to the way a rabbit moves sometimes, actually.
No, I tell you, that is exactly it. Because I saw it walk out.
Yep.
And then as it went back in, it would have taken 10 steps to get back, and it moved exactly like that.
Excellent.
Absolutely, yeah, 100%.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Same shape in the head.
Yep.
Yeah. It was probably a little bit skinnier under the belly than
Yep.
that one. But yeah, same shape and same movement. Yes, definitely.
When you watch that video in careful detail, it actually swaps feet at one stage and then goes back.
I'm watching it now.
It's like it's favouring one foot and limping, and then it briefly swaps and favours the other one, then it favours back to the other.
It's just swapped then.
Yeah. It's definitely not an injured dog. It's a Thyla, for sure.
Mate, that's no injured dog, I can tell you by looking at it.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. Awesome.
All right, well, look, no dramas, mate. I'm happy I could help.
Yeah, no worries. If you want any other details or if you're curious at all, we've got a website called the Thylacine Awareness Group of Australia.com.au.
Yep.
And we've got our own YouTube channel as well there. We got some good audio the other week that might be interest to you, camping out in the bush a lot. There's some...
All right, well, I'll have a look, mate. And if I see it again, I've actually just said to the wife, on our days off this weekend, we're going to get a dash cam for both of our cars. I said to her, not negotiable, we're getting one. And she goes, what do I want? I said, well, not only if you have a bloody accident is it handy, I said, but if we see this thing again, I want some footage.
That'd be awesome.
I know. Well, look, mate, I really appreciate your time and thanks for taking the interest. Because as I said to you, it was certainly... We both got home and we were actually in a little bit of shock and disbelief as to what we'd just seen. It was really freaky, eh?
Yeah, you see something unusual and it does make an impression on you. And, once you realise what you've seen, you're looking at something that's not meant to exist, especially on the mainland.
Yeah.
So,
absolutely.
I'm not surprised you were in a bit of shock. That's perfect.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It was certainly an eye-opener and something I'll never forget.
Excellent. All right, mate. Well, look, stay in touch. If you've got any questions, don't hesitate.
Easy, mate.
Good.
All right, you take good care of yourself.
Good on you, Kane. Thanks, mate.
See you now. Bye.
Ta-da.